On July 19th, 1977, the world teacher, the Christ Maitreya, head of the spiritual hierarchy, emerged from his ancient retreat and is now in the modern world. With his disciples, the masters of the wisdom, he will inaugurate the new age of synthesis and brotherhood.
Good morning and welcome to our World Teacher Programme on Wellington's Access Radio 106.1 FM, presented by Teresa and David on behalf of Share International New Zealand.
Our programme today is based on articles regarding humanity's free will. After all, as Maitreya has said in his message number 31, nothing happens by itself. Man must act and implement his will. So we'll start with the Master's article, as dictated to Benjamin Creme, entitled The New Time for Men. It originally featured in the April 2001 issue of Share International magazine and begins,
With every day that passes, mankind is being shown the calamities which occur from the misuse of free will. Divine free will is man's greatest treasure, but only when it is used in accordance with the plan of the Logos is it lawful and right. Man has travelled far from that understanding, and so reaps the whirlwind of his wrong thought and action.
Thus it is that millions suffer needlessly in the midst of plenty, wanting the means that others take for granted as their birthright. Not for much longer can man support this separation. The law demands a sustaining balance, and finding it not, acts to adjust and reconcile.
Moreover, the new energies of synthesis demand expression more and more, and daily ease mankind towards that goal. Men everywhere find the rising tension difficult to bear and flounder wildly in the resulting chaos.
From deep within themselves, men sense that the way to the future lies through change, but see not yet the outlines of the path. They await a sign that their needs are known and will be met, but trust not the profusion of signs which everywhere announce the presence of that succour. They hope and fear at once, and reject the possibility of that for which they yearn. So has it always been.
Meanwhile, sections of mankind press blissfully on, enjoying the easy fortunes which daily astonish their hungry and greedy minds. They are blind to all but their own precarious success, and cannot sense the tension or hear the tolling of the bell. The disease of speculation has them in thrall, and thoughts of dying ancient Rome's excesses come to mind.
Watching these differences and conflicting attitudes stands hierarchy, seeking to aid in every way it can. Only the free will of men prevents direct intervention, but the law is the law and must be ever obeyed. Nevertheless, much help is extended which mankind never sees.
Maitreya is assessing the situation which exists from day to day, and is looking to emerge before the stock market collapse already predicted. Steps are now being taken to make this possible. This being so, the time is short indeed until his open mission begins. Watch and be alert that you may not miss the early signs.
Maitreya will seek to galvanize into action the men and women of goodwill everywhere. Many there are who are but waiting for his call. Thus will be set in motion a great debate, in which the basic needs of men everywhere will be examined and appraised.
In this way, men will come to know and test the possibilities that change can guarantee, and so find the courage to begin the needed transformation. Thus will it be, and thus will the great Lord advise and guide and inaugurate the new time for men.
Our next article is by Alexander Douws-Dekker, a Share International co-worker living in Deventer, the Netherlands. It's titled Human Free Will, its key role in the current world crisis. First published in Share International magazine, July-August 2010.
Humanity has long pondered over and still heatedly debates one of the most fundamental and contentious issues of our existence. Does human free will exist at all? And if so, what qualifies our free will and what conditions it? And how does our free will relate to the laws of nature or to the will of deity? This issue is becoming more and more central to our daily lives as we face the world crisis with increasing intensity.
Many myths, legends and sacred texts of the great ancient civilizations touch upon the issue of free will. Usually they depict a hero of royal birth who is tested by the gods who determine his fate. In the ancient world, during the age of Aries and before, the issue of human free will centered on the fate of emperors, kings and princes, who were described as being of divine lineage and therefore destined to rule.
With the advent of the Piscean age and the spread of the teachings of the Buddha in the East and of the Christ in the West, the perception of free will gradually began to change. In the polytheistic traditions of the Far East, religious teachers and thinkers have approached and still approach the issue through different interpretations of the great laws of karma and reincarnation. In the monotheistic traditions of the Near East and the West, theologians and philosophers have discussed and still discuss various concerns relating personal will and the will of God in terms of sin and morality.
When human free will is considered, it is usually limited to the personal choice of privileged individuals of either submitting to the religious tradition at hand, and most traditions still present themselves as the one and only true faith with the exclusion of all others, or rejecting it. This, it is believed, leads to either eternal salvation and liberation, or to eternal suffering and damnation.
Over the recent centuries, the issue of human free will has entered into the domains of politics, education, economics, the arts, scientific research, technology and the media. It has increasingly played its part in political revolutions, the abolition of slavery, the start of women's emancipation, the formulation of universal human rights, social awareness and reform, public opinion, and today in modern culture and new understandings of psychology.
The issue of human free will has broken out of its singularly religious mould and has pervaded human living as an ideal at least. At the same time, our abuse of free will is at the root of the world crisis in which millions suffer needlessly of hunger, disease and abject poverty, in which we pollute our environment, damage our ecology and disrupt our climate, and in which we cause violence through crime, terror and wars.
More and more we are becoming aware of the fact that the just use of our free will is the key to the solutions implemented through willing cooperation. Goodwill is at the heart of beneficial changes everywhere.
Interestingly, human free will is still not accepted as an established scientific fact, despite recent advances in the neurosciences and psychology. Many scientists today believe, often rather religiously, that the choices people make and all thoughts leading to these choices are the direct result of behavioral conditioning, which itself is said to be the direct result of brain activity. In other words, they assume that by now human free will has been proven to be non-existent and that mind activity is identical to brain activity.
In the esoteric teachings of our spiritual hierarchy, as presented in the writings by Alice A. Bailey, Helena Roerich, Benjamin Creme and others, numerous statements on human free will can be found. These references are both from the personal perspective of individual human evolution and from the perspective of humanity as a whole, as a centre within the planetary scheme.
This is in line with the Aquarian dispensation as we enter the New Age, in which we, humanity as a whole, are gradually becoming aware of our true energetic and esoteric function, both in relation to hierarchy, the planetary heart center, and to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known.
On an individual level, millions of people are becoming aware of their free will, under the increasing stimulus of their souls, leading to action on behalf of our shared humanity and our planet as a whole. In Esoteric Psychology, Volume 2, dictated by the Master Dwalkul to Alice Bailey, page 29, it is conveyed as follows.
It might be said that within the limits of the intelligent direction of the intelligent man there is free will, as far as activity in the human kingdom is concerned. Where no mind activity is present, and where there is no power to discriminate, to analyze and to choose, there is no free will. Within the vaster processes of the plan, however, as it includes the entire planetary evolution, there is, for the tiny unit man, no free will. He is subject, for instance, to what we call acts of God, and before these he is helpless. He has no choice and no escape. Herein lies a hint upon the working of karma in the human kingdom. Karma and intelligent responsibility are inextricably woven and interwoven.
In Maitreya's teachings, The Laws of Life, page 23, the often complex issue of individual free will is addressed in a most direct and simple way. Maitreya says, "Be sincere in your spirit, be honest in your mind, be detached."
When you surrender the self to mind, spirit and body, when you identify with thought, power and matter, everything becomes predestined. This means that you are subject to conditioning. Your thoughts and acts are the result of conditioning. You lose your free will. Thus, attachment is loss of freedom. Detachment is freedom.
Maitreya says, "Even when you see me, do not run after me. I have not come to create followers. If you parade me, you do not know who I am. What you experience yourself is your wealth."
Agni Yoga, page 366, offers some more insight into the importance that hierarchy places on free will. Quote,
Searching for a broad application of the teaching will give experience to the hand, but one can easily destroy an expected result, for our voice from afar is like whisper of the reeds. The free will that rebels should not be opposed. We may regret and once again whisper, but the law of free will, as an inalienable characteristic of man, guarantees his dignity. When I say do not coerce, I have in mind precisely the law of free will. Who would bend a sapling that is tensed with its own will? And would not the recoil be worse than the bending? Thus find ways to attract people without molesting their will. End of quote.
The teachings of hierarchy, presented for our consideration only, underline that our free will is sacred, though limited, and essential to our evolution as unique human beings within the planetary scheme. We as humanity are being approached by hierarchy under law, which ensures that our free will cannot be infringed. Maitreya, the embodiment of love on our planet, leads the way in this great approach as the world crisis in all its aspects culminates.
Just after Maitreya emerged from his ancient retreat in the Himalayas and took up residence in the Asian community of London, he emphasized the importance of human free will in message number 3 on the 22nd of September 1977.
Allow me to help you. Allow me to show you the way. Forward. Into a simpler life where no man lacks where no 2 days are alike, where the joy of brotherhood manifests through all men. Mine is the task to lead and guide, but you willingly must follow. Otherwise, I can do nothing. My hands are tied by law. The decision rests with mankind.
Maitreya not only affirms the existence of human free will, but places it at the center of the current crisis. In many of his messages, he states that it is crucial to the outcome of the world crisis and affirms that we will choose the way of sharing, justice and freedom, leading to true and lasting peace on our planet. Message number 11, 5th of January 1978.
I need your help. I call on you to aid me in my task. How can I stand aside and watch this slaughter? Watch my little ones die. No, my friends, this cannot be. Therefore, I am come quickly among you once more to show you the way, point the path. But the success of my mission depends on you. You must make the choice. Whether you share and learn to live peacefully as true men, or perish utterly. My heart tells me your answer, your choice, and is glad.
Maitreya addresses humanity and invokes human free will. His messages often contain a rallying call, a call to action, and offer explanation relevant today. Message number 12, 10th of January 1978.
Man's problem today, as always, is of his own making. It is not inherent in the plan of God. By the misuse of his divine free will, man has placed his future and that of all the kingdoms in jeopardy. Many today are beginning to realize this. And are taking such steps as they can to avert catastrophe. This is good. But not all men see the danger. Which faces mankind in increasing potency. Time is short indeed for the reconstruction of our world. Along lines more befitting man's true role and purpose. My task is to show you the way, outline the possibilities only, for by man himself must the new world be forged.
To complete our program, we have our final article by the Master, titled The Sword of Cleavage, from October 2014's Share International magazine.
Many people believe that despite the presence of Maitreya in the world, everything is becoming more threatening and unstable than hitherto. They wonder what hierarchy is doing to ease the many problems and difficulties that leave them afraid and unprepared for the heightened tension of today.
The truth is, the world is being prepared. In times of great tension and change, people look at problems with a limited view, which they inevitably have, of the true state of society. Humanity imagines that all these events have the same impact and importance for the future, whereas the true view, which only the Masters can see, is altogether different.
The Masters see the happenings as if occurring on a flat plane, and as potential only. They know that some will precipitate and effect world change, while others will simply wither away without any precipitation at all. Humanity, with its limited vision, sees all these events as bearing on their future, but this assuredly is not the case. From the Master's point of view, humanity has never been so ready for the new world that the future will bring. It has never been so near a time of inspiration and readiness to work for the common well.
When the Christ said that he would return, in such a time as we think not, he would bring not soft words of spurious peace, but a sword, the sword of cleavage, which would separate father from son and brother from brother. It is precisely the action of the sword of cleavage that we are witnessing today. Maitreya's energy of love stimulates everyone, the one who loves and works for justice and sharing, but also the one who causes the divisions, schisms and greed in the world.
In this way, through the clear opposition created by the sword of cleavage, men can arrive at a true choice for the future for all men, the poor and hungry, as well as the men of money and the destroyers of peace in the world. Each of us must choose on which side of that division we find our truth.
And that's our program for today. If you have any questions or would like to know more about the World Teacher Maitreya and the Masters of Wisdom, please call us on 063646 or visit the website share-international.org.
To inquire about Share International magazine subscriptions, books by Benjamin Creme, or our monthly free of charge newsletter, the number is 04234 1133, or write to P.O. Box 9576 Wellington.
Thank you for listening to us on Wellington's Access Radio 106.1 FM, and please tune in to our next World Teacher program on Saturday the 20th of March at the usual time of 10 a.m.
You can listen again to this program and previous ones by visiting our website at share-international-nz.info and click on the radio tab.